Hey,
Hello?
what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
How do I pronounce your name? Is it Isidore?
Yeah, it's close enough. Easy door.
Isidore?
Yeah. What's your real name, by the way?
Jeffrey.
Oh, okay, Jeffrey. Just give me a second, I'm logging in at the moment.
Yeah, it's more than fine.
Alright, I should be online now.
Okay, let me invite you here. So we're just gonna pick any random old map. Well, not random. Just one moment.
By the way, I have disliked the whirlwind map, I really hate that one.
It's not the best map for mech, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
In general, I hate big maps.
Yeah. Which is a shame, because most of the maps are now leaning towards being big.
Yeah, I noticed.
Let's pick this one.
Okay, so I'm just gonna watch you do a build, or...
The first one is I'm going to do the build and explain exactly what I do, why I do it, right as I do it. And then the second one, you're going to try to copy it.
Okay.
Let's try to... should be able to add an observer. Give me one moment. We'll just do this. Very easy. Terran. Economic focus. Alright. So, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Protoss. That way it slightly resembles it.
Yeah, okay.
So on this map, it's recently... you can't spawn on the same side. I mean from top to bottom. You can spawn left to right, not top to bottom. I'm gonna have to scout all the bases probably anyway, because it's 3-player, so it messes with that a little bit. But everything else should be relatively the same.
Alright.
I'm gonna teach you the safest build I know, and if you do this, you should be able to stop every cheese.
Okay. Is that the one you showed me in your video?
Yes, except with a slight tweak. And we'll go past the 6-minute mark so you can see the transition. Like what to go into, you know, because that build is just to survive. It doesn't really go into what you do after you survive.
Right.
So, we're just trying to get past the start here. So the first thing we're going to do is at 10 supply, so the 9th SCV to finish, we build 1 depot at the front. We're not going to build any more at the front for now. The reason why 1 supply depot is if the person is going for a proxy proxy gateway, we only need to close the wall with 2 depots, or 1 bunker and 1 depot, instead of 3.
Alright.
We also don't put more than that here because... oh, and then we scout. We also don't put more than that here because in case he does heavy zealot, mothership core, stalker pressure, he can't get more than 1 supply depot from our front, from the edge. Then he has to move up the ramp. The second thing we do is we put... if you notice the barracks placement, it's very close to my main, and it's far away from the ramp.
Okay.
There's a specific reason for this. We want it to protect at least 1 gas geyser, our minerals, our command center, and our production facility in case there's blank stalker. So putting the barracks close to your main like this is very important. And I'll show you why in just a moment. Alright, now when we're at 13 SCVs, you can send your 14th supply SCV to come out, so or your 13th to finish, over to the gas. Go ahead, go up here, you know, scout for an expansion, then go up. It's not here, go bottom left. Transfer the workers immediately. When you don't want to jump over 15 supply without making a orbital command. You'll notice that I canceled the SCV that was building out of habit.
Yeah, I was wondering why people do that.
Yeah. Gets your mule out faster. I'll explain why in just a moment. Then we want, on 16 supply, or supply depot, we want it behind the mineral lines, or close to the base that we can still protect. You cancel it because one mule is 4 SCVs, and we'd rather get the mule out as soon as possible. Now we keep making work our Marines for just a little. You know, it doesn't matter what this guy does. I like to put my work on rally point around the base. And then we make a factory. Again, really close to the base. Very important that we do that.
Okay.
So once we have all our production facilities down, I will show you how I respond. Like you say a specific cheese, and I'll show you how I respond. Now at this time, there's nothing you can really see at his base just yet. You can, you're about to see if he has 1 or 2 gas. If he has 1 gas, it's most likely an expansion or a 4 gate. If it's 2 gas, it could still be an expansion with like a mothership core, a stalker into like an early robotics facility, or it could be a cheese. So if it's 2 gas, prepare to defend.
Okay.
Now,
by the way, the timing of his zealot, does it mean anything, or?
No, not really. If he makes a zealot, it means that his oracle will be delayed.
Mm-hmm.
But at your level, that shouldn't really matter too much because their macro isn't the best, so they could still go for it. At high levels, it means the oracle is delayed, or it will not coming, but it'll definitely be delayed. Now, with this specific build, by the 5-minute mark, if the player's playing correct, or the 5:30, if you know, just give it some time for the macro to slip, there should be an expansion that is natural expo. If there isn't, it's going to be aggressive play. And your goal is to know when that expansion goes up, if it does throughout the entire game, by sneaking out workers, maybe spending a scan once in a while, because you want to know when he grabs it. That usually means you're safe to grab yours.
Okay.
Fastest oracle can be in your base about 5 minutes. 4.5 actually when they really cut things, but that should be really easy to see. Nobody at your level is going to be able to do that.
Okay, what about the proxy oracle?
Proxy oracle will still reach your base after, or slightly after you have the widow mine.
Okay.
You'll notice that our factory just finished. We can make a widow mine right now and just put it straight in our mineral line and we'll be good. Also, some things to note is warp gate can be at your doorstep at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. The reason why that's not a problem is because we'll have a widow mine to put at the front, and he'll lose a lot of stuff to the widow mines. We can even have almost 2 out. When he hits, it's really easy to scout. We'll just put a bunker at the front if we see him chrono boosting a cybernetics core. No worries. In fact, we're about to put one down, so it'll be finished right about warp gate, and right about as he pushes up the ramp.
Alright, so you're saying chrono boosting is a sign of kind of pressure?
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing to notice, or to note, is Dark Templar can be at your base at about 7 minutes and 15 seconds. 30 seconds as well, actually, if they're playing a little bit more macro. But 17 minutes and 15 seconds is about as close as you can get. So you want to have your wall off if you suspect cheese by that time and have an engineering bay.
Okay.
Alright, so let's continue here. And 1 second. So in about 10 seconds, theoretically, I should know whether it's a cheese or an attack. And that's by his nexus timing. So we'll do a few things. So one, here's the widow mine is on its way. Once the widow mine is on its way, we can build a bunker at the front. So this is slightly different than what I've been doing on the YouTube video a month ago. This is a more updated version. We build a tech lab on the barracks, we send the widow mine to our mineral line, and we wall off with a bunker and a supply depot. So we send this over here, then we lift this up, get a second gas before we start making a single siege tank. Okay. Siege tank, 1 marine, transfer it over, And now we save for the starport. So we do want one starport. Right here, you're safe against almost anything. And this is where it's going to go off track a little bit. So just remember, by 620, this is kind of what you should have.
Alright.
And save scans at 7 minutes, so just in case it's Dark Templar, you'll have one. Now we're going to goof off a little bit and go, okay, what if it's this? Let's say right now, I scout, it's about 8 minutes is when Blink Stalker hits your base. Right now I scout it. Here's what I would do, okay? So I scout it immediately.
How can you tell, exactly base code?
You scan his base. If there's a lot of stalkers, it's Blink Stalker. If you see the Twilight Council being Chrono Boost, it's Blink Stalker.
Okay.
So here's what we do. First we get Widow Mines, Marauder, Widow Mine, and a Viking. You can build siege tanks as well. But we're gonna get one more Widow Mine first. Now the reason why the Widow Mine is because if you position them properly, they're more powerful than the siege tank because it's much harder to snipe them. We put our SCVs in the more appropriate bunkers, and we select 2 SCVs to go on patrol by the bunkers to automatically repair. That way if he blinks up, we're ready. The Viking is to snipe the mothership core. We reposition the Widow Mines near the bunkers. We keep making Marauders. We get Concussive Shell. We can now also get Banshees to help out, or a Raven. So you can see the reason why we built everything so close was we only need 3 bunkers to protect everything. And the siege tank can cover pretty much all 3 of them. If we skipped 1 Widow Mine and we got an extra siege tank, we'd be able to cover more space. So let's just move in here. All the bunkers are filled for defense. The outer edges are filled with a Marauder. The most forward point is just filled with Marines, but the Marauder should still be able to attack anything that attacks it. And from here on, it'll be really hard to break us.
Okay, one question. I noticed you're not building your SCVs. Is that on purpose or?
Oh, that's not on purpose. I was mostly talking and setting everything up.
Okay.
So I was getting a little distracted talking. But yeah, you can tell my macro's sleeping a little bit discussing this.
Yeah, no problem.
You have to take account that you're going to lose the 2 supply depots in the back, so you'll have to make them back in your base. Keep making Marauders, Siege Tank, and you can even get up to 2 Vikings. They can still land and do damage. And you can see we're pretty covered. He can't stay in our production facilities. He can't hit our minerals. Siege tanks cover the whole area. He can't hit the bunkers without our siege tanks hitting him. The only one slightly exposed is this outer one. Do you see that ping?
Yeah.
We could have moved this back here, and that would have been a little better. Just right there. And then we would have been really covered. So right now, it's impossible to blink into our base and deal damage, besides whatever's at the front.
Okay, one more question. So we suppose that he comes now and we deflect his attack. What's next, should I strike back or should I just macro up or that kinds of things that bothers me?
Here's one thing that you can do. 3 siege tanks in a good position will make you perfectly safe. So what we could do from here is go back to Marines, we get a medevac, we get Widow Mines, and we get an armory. After we get the armory, we go ahead and get 2 more factories and another command center. The extra command center is because we've already deflected his attack. He's probably not going to attack us. The extra factories are for a macro, and we're going to go ahead and take this base, sacrifice the bunkers. If we know for sure that he's done attacking, we get rid of the bunkers, and we move down a ramp.
Okay, this should put him behind, right?
Yes. If you deflect it perfectly, he's absolutely behind, and you are incredibly far ahead, and you're making it even more ahead by getting the extra command center. Transfer some workers over. You want like 16 workers in the main, and since I'm building 4 things, it'll end up to be 17, and then I'm about to make a depot and keep making depots, so it'll be about 16 average. Then we can swap the
against the 4-gate. It's like the similar defense, right?
Yeah, except all the bunkers are at the front.
Yeah.
So normally we would have a reactor in one of these, and we can just make a reactor out of the barracks and use the tech lab still for the starport. Get like a Raven out. It's not bad to have a Raven. And then we want to make 2 siege tanks and a Hellbat. Or, another thing we can do, so there's different ways you can handle this. And my macro is going to slip now explaining this. So, the more gateway units he has, the better siege tanks are. The more siege tanks you have, the more defensive you are. So if you want to be really, really defensive, go for 2 tech labs. Okay. If you want to be if you want to be able to attack sooner than later, you go for 2 reactors. The reason why is because the Hellbats are more mobile. You can make 1 Viking at a time, 1 siege tank, and 4 Hellbats at a time, and still be able to, and you'll be able to attack into almost anything.
Okay.
And defend almost anything too. Your defense is a little bit stronger with more siege tanks, but then your offense is a lot weaker.
Okay, so you kind of stop Widowmine production, right?
Yeah. For this specific build, we don't use many Widow Mines. There's something I'm working on that uses an immense amount, but it takes a decent size of a micro to be able to pull it off. So it's not something I want to show.
I've seen you use your Widow Mines, and that was kind of, I thought to myself this was nice.
Yeah. So we can use this third that we built earlier to expand. Once we have our production here going, I took too many workers, but oh, actually no, I didn't. I did the math wrong in my head because I have some down here for the depots. So once we're up to 3, and we have our upgrade going, the plus attacks, we throw down 2 more factories. So we want to go up to 5, and then we can use this extra tech lab here as well for ghosts. We can make 1 Viking at a time, 1 ghost at a time, and lots of Hellbats and siege tanks.
Okay, so you don't get your second armory for some time?
No, it's not 100% required. It helps in maxed out situations, but an EMP will help you out a lot more. And most of the time you'll be playing turtle style anyway, and he'll be attacking into you. So damage is the most important upgrade with this style. And then we want to go up to a total of 3 tech labs, 2 reactors on the factories. I got too many ghost academies, by the way.
Okay.
And then you can make like 1 ghost at a time and a Viking. And then your goal is to be sieged before he attacks into you. That's always your position, or your goal, to be in a better siege position. Let's see here. So that's kind of what I would do in that situation. If I saw Oracle, I would get an engineering bay and build 3 missile turrets, 1 in the mineral lines, and then 1 by the production facilities to be safe. And I'd also probably tech to Thors, because in case he goes Phoenix, Thors are really good against air. And so I'd go Thor Hellbat instead of Hellbat Siege Tank. And you can see our army's looking pretty scary. If he's not making any Colossi, you can make Medivacs. So if he's making Immortals, you can make Medivacs to help out your Hellbats. If he's making Storm, you can get Medivacs to help out your Hellbats and a few Ghosts. The only time you get Vikings if he has a Stargate, and if he's going Colossi.
Okay. One question: didn't you used to get a couple of Ravens for PDDs?
Yes, I used to get a lot of Ravens. Now I've been leaning a lot more towards Ghosts. But it doesn't hurt to have 1 or 2 Ravens. If you have the gas, if you notice your macro is slipping, which it definitely should at Platinum level, it's not wrong for you to go, you know what, I'm gonna get 2 Ravens. But in the lower levels, it's really hard for you, and I don't have my hands on the keyboard right now, so don't worry about what I'm doing. In the lower levels, it's really hard for you to spend all of your money properly, and one of the things that you can do to compensate that is get 1 extra unit producing structure for every base, for everything. So you can see right now that I have 5 factories, 1 barracks, and 1 starport on 3 bases. So what you can go is, you know what, I could probably go up to 6 or 7 factories, 2 barracks, and 2 starports, and it won't harm me that big of a deal, because have you ever noticed how you played, how high can your minerals go? Do they go up to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000?
Well, I don't know, when they're really late games, it tends to go, you know, a couple of thousands when I'm maxed out, you know. But usually I do a good job spending it, like maximum to 1,000 really, but rarely.
So, it's in that situation, it doesn't hurt to get like just one extra production facility or just 2 more factories, just in case. That way you can make slightly more Hellbats. And the goal is that you always want about a 2-to-1 Hellbat count. So you can see I have about twice as many Hellbats as siege tanks, maybe even 3 times as many. Not that bad of a deal. The siege tanks are there to really deliver the blow, and the Hellbats are there to make sure that they don't reach the siege tanks. They still do okay damage.
Yeah, I've been doing that wrong, you know, cause I kind of miss out on Hellbats.
Yeah. Your goal is always to know, is he going robotics, is he going Stargate? The moment you scout air, you want to drop a few starports and throw in some Vikings and Thors. The later the game goes on, the more you want to throw in Thors. So you can see I'm almost maxed. Now I'm throwing in Thors, just in case.
Okay.
We don't really want to lose any expensive units, so we're going to trade like Hellbats for Thors. Just a few of them, you know, instead of getting more Hellbats. And we get like Ghosts and Ravens. So we're getting Ghosts, Ravens, and Thors to max out our last bit of supply. Once you're at like 180 supply, you have to go, okay, what's he filling his army with? At first he started off with, let's say, gateway units, so like Archon, Zealots, Stalkers, Sentries, High Templar, so and Immortal. So now we're about maxed out, and he still has the Immortals, but now he's throwing in Void Rays. So I need to fill my last units to kill the Void Rays, and what can do that? And Thors are really good at killing Void Rays in the splash mode. And EMP is pretty good at killing Void Rays because, you know, they stack, so the Void Rays take a lot, and so does Hunter Seeker Missile, which is why we're putting ourselves through with Ghost, Ghost, Thor, Raven. Now, if he has a lot of Immortals and a lot of Archons, we want to get more Ghosts than Ravens. We can only get like 1 Raven. Because the Archon, if you EMP it 3 times, it'll die in like 1 or 2 hits. Especially if he has a lot of them. So the more Ghosts the more Archons he has and the more Immortals, the more you want Ghosts. And you can go up to like 3 or 4 barracks producing Ghosts in the late game, so you can resupply them really fast.
Okay.
EMP is a huge deal. Let's go into one of the tactics here, and that's a proper positioning. And that's the most important part of mech, is you never want to die. So let's say he's going to attack into here, okay? What we want for any attack, the general rule is we want our siege tanks clumped up against Protoss, not against any other race. But against Protoss, we kind of want our siege tanks clumped up, and we want our Hellbats spread out across the ramp in an arc. So what happens here is if he attacks, all of our siege tanks should fire at the same time, close to the same target, so they all die really fast.
Okay.
And we're going to take the Widow Mines out of this fight, because we normally don't have them at this stage. And then when he attacks in this direction, he will automatically attack outward onto the Hellbats, while the Hellbats fire in, clumping him up even more, and making it easier to EMP. So, if you follow my Ghost, you know, if I attack, or let's take some of these units, okay? So, if I'm the Protoss army right here, and I attack straight in, I'm surrounded, right here, all the time. Your goal is to always kind of like surround their army. Sorry, let me kill this a little bit.
Yeah.
Alright, so, and if he comes that way and he's clumped, it's much easier to EMP one section than, you know, the whole ramp. And a lot of lower league players are going to do that.
Okay. By the way, do you prioritize some targets, or you just do the IE, do the stuff, you know?
My biggest goal is, if I have Ghosts, I prioritize EMPs first. If I have Ravens, so if I know the battle's going to come, I'll either drop down Hunter Seeker missiles when he runs in to force him to run away, and if he doesn't, he takes a lot of damage. Or if he has a lot of Stalkers, I'll put the point defense drone down before the fight, just 1 or 2. That way, that's not as important during the fight. So, like, if he comes up with, let's say he comes up with like 4 Colossi and 30 Stalkers. What I would do is, okay, I want to hold here. I want to make sure I'm safe, so I'm going to drop 1 point defense drone. Ignore my Ravens for now. Now, I'm going to EMP him as he comes up to make sure. Alright, that's good. EMP's done. Now, I'm going to go back to the Ravens. Is he still attacking? Okay. 1 point defense drone. The Chargers are gone. He's still attacking. 1 point defense drone. And try not to spend too much energy on the Ravens on the point defense drones.
Alright. One more question. How do you hotkey or stuff in a battle?
In a battle, the biggest thing that I hotkey is my army is almost always on 1, as you can tell right now.
Yeah, that's what I do wrong. I kind of learn myself to have my army on 5 or 6. So I don't know. That's bad? It's kind of far away.
Yeah, it is a little far away. Usually want them on 1, 2, 3, and 4, or something like that. And so I put my ghosts on 3. Out of habit that I can't break, my command centers are on 2, which isn't that bad because you can scan really fast. Okay. And then 3, my ghost is on 3, and then my upgrades are on 5. But once I have dual spellcasters, which isn't really until the mid to late game, I don't have to watch my upgrades as closely. I have my Ravens on 5, and I usually have them on follow on a Thor, and not in my number 1 hotkey. This means that, let's say I'm constantly moving around the map. If I have my number 1 hotkey, like let's watch this, okay? I'm gonna take this Thor and this medevac, and they're in the same hotkey. So I'm gonna attack to this gas geyser. Attack. See where?
Yeah, medevac runs in.
Yeah, it's gonna die. But let's go. Okay, I'm going to attack to this gas geyser with this Thor. The Ravens stay on top of the Thor in the back of the army. Never have to worry. And all I do is, oh, there's a fight. 5D. And then I resend them back to the Thor. No worries.
Yeah, nice.
So that makes it much easier to handle them. So in the lower leagues, what you'll find, what will give you the most wins, is forcing them to attack into you. They will make huge mistakes. As long as you scout where he's going and build the perfect army and take your time, they will always attack into you and you will always win the game. Probably all the way up until Master League, because they feel a lot of pressure.
Oh, nice. Okay, when do you take your additional bases and how do you defend them?
When you feel safe, you take them. So when he's on his side of the map, you can take them. It's not really like a set timer on now I have to get a base. It's more like, as a Terran player, your goal is to have 2 mining bases at all time. As a mech player, it can even go down to 1 in the late game, as long as you win the battles.
Alright.
So the way that I take my expos is normally I build them in my base, and then fly them down, normally. So we're just going to clear this out for a second. And then, if I have a lot of minerals or whatever, let's say I flew down my base, I put them like this, next to each other. So two planetary fortresses, and then, oh, I don't have an engineering bay. Let me make that real fast. We'll actually just pretend supply depots are missile turrets.
Okay.
So here's 1 supply depot, that's a missile turret, and then we like to put 1 missile turret in front and 1 in the back. So 3 if they're kind of far away, with 2 command centers, 2 planetaries. This is only if it's far away. And why do we do this? Because it's really easy to harass these bases with like warpins. So when we put the missile turrets apart like that, they can't just snipe them really fast and go for the Dark Templar. They have to run around the planetaries.
Yeah.
3 is a pretty good number at holding off void rays. Not too many, but a few. And then also 2 planetary fortresses deal a lot of damage. They're much harder to kill. You get building armor, and they're even more, more so. Over here we would just get, it would look like this over here. And then the next base would look more like, like this. So this is an outer edge. I'd get missile turrets here to prevent war prisms. Do you see where I would put the missile turrets?
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's say I expand it down here, I would set it up like so. I would have to kill these rocks or put it like here, and then missile turret, missile turret, missile turret.
Okay.
So, any more questions in that regard?
Nope.
So a lot of things the Terran mech players have issue with is they're saying, oh, he's expanding, he's expanding, he's expanding, I'm gonna lose. That doesn't matter if he expands. He can have the whole entire map as long as you have 2 bases mining and you're winning every fight convincingly. It doesn't matter how many bases he has because he needs those just to be able to fight you.
Okay. Well, but when do you stop defending and you move out and try to actually win the game?
So at some stages in the game, he'll attack into you, he'll get crushed. You just move, just kill him.
Okay. Okay.
Other stages of the game, you can go, you know what? Let's say that I have this whole map now, and I go, okay, the only bases left are across the map, so now I'm going to start slow pushing towards him. Another thing you can do is with this style, if you have the 2 reactors and a tech lab, is you can move out at 15-minute mark, or when you have 6 siege tanks with a lot of Hellbats and a few medevacs. If he doesn't have any air, you can push out to his base. You can kind of camp at his base for a little while, just to force him to be scared and attack into you, and slow push with siege tanks and make some Vikings so Colossi don't just kill you. Have 1 Raven, or build missile turrets there. You can take along 2 SUVs and build missile turrets to make sure there are no Dark Templar. So a good timing attack is at 15 minutes with like 6 siege tanks and 15 or so Hellbats. You can do that. Another thing you can do is you can go, okay, so now here's how you put on the pressure. Let's say we've been fighting or we haven't been fighting at all. I'm maxed out. I know I can crush his army, but he won't fight me. So what am I gonna do? I don't have any of these bases down below. I just have this one, the one on the side here by the watchtower. So I go, okay, you won't fight me. How about we step it up and force you to fight me? Because this is gonna make him go, oh crap, he's taken every base. Or let's clear this up first. Sorry. Stupid Protoss. So here's how we set this up. Let's say on this map, we go, alright, here are some rocks. We're going to put our siege tanks behind you. They can hit the whole entire thing. We're going to split up our army a little bit. Air units in the middle. Right here. Some Thors on this side. Some units on this side. We're going to put some more units over here. So now if he attacks, he fights into a huge line. Our siege tanks are in an excellent position. And another thing we can do is, we still didn't make this engineering bay. I'm just going to make one back here. But still use the supply depots. Actually, yeah, let's pretend bunkers or missile turrets here. So we make 2 missile turrets on each side. Not that bad. And then we put like some supply depots in front of them. Actually, not that far forward. So missile turrets, and then some supply depots kind of behind here, close to the siege tanks.
Are those for pathing?
Yep,
kind of
absolutely.
Okay.
This will fuck with his pathing big time. And from here on, siege tanks can hit almost anything that touches the wall. It's a little bit gap up top, but we can just move 1 tank, over. Not that big of a deal.
How many SUVs do you bring in the fight?
So your goal eventually is to get to like 10 or 15 SUVs, and to only mine gas. So in the mid game you want a lot of SUVs, and then in the late game you want less SUVs, more orbital commands. So for every orbital command you have, you can get rid of 4 SUVs. And and 3 bases fully saturated is as many SUVs as you want. Once you're on like 6 bases, you split them up, so you only want like a, what's the word I'm looking for? You only want them all working at half condition. So let's say you're on 4 bases, they're all working at slightly over half, and you just built 3 new orbital commands. You'll take 4 SUVs or 3 SUVs from each base, and send them to his side of the map. They'll die, and the more orbital commands you have, the less SUVs, the more supply, the bigger and scarier your army. And you just look like, you're like, okay, I now have an extra 20. Let's scan him. Where is he? We find his army, we say, oh, you know what? You're getting a lot of Void Rays. We're just going to make a few more Thors. Or you're getting a lot of ground. We're just going to make a few more siege tanks. And just by being in this position, you can make a few medevacs, you can send out Hellbat drops. You don't actually have to send your army until it's really, really late, or you can win in the game. Okay. So you can just like drop him, you can nuke him, you can be fancy. You wanna taunt him. You wanna be like, I know you're not gonna attack enemy, and then when they're like, fuck it, I'm pissed off, I'm ending this game. a lot of players will crack under the pressure and just attack into you because they think I have to attack, I have to attack, I have to attack.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. But it's even worse with the mech, because when you attack into a mech army that is in position, you will get obliterated. You will just destroy their army, and then you can just go kill them. It'll be that simple.
Alright.
So there's no point to like move in here at all. You can just, like let's say he has this base. I'm gonna bring my ghosts right down here, close to my wall, and nuke the edge. Same thing with this base, or I can send like 3 medevacs full of hellbats down the side, and then drop right in his mineral line and kill as much as I can.
Okay, but what if he tries to harass me? The mech army is kind of immobile, so how do you deal with that?
Okay, so here's how we do with that. We're gonna take so the rule is if you're on your third base, you want your main base. So let's look at my main base here. If you have 3 bases, you want to be safe against warp prisms. So that's a big rule. So what we're gonna do? Oh, by the way, he's attacking over here, and our siege tanks are firing. But what we want to do? So we just established our third base. How are we gonna be safe? So on this map, we're gonna build 1 missile turret, 3 missile turrets there. Then we're gonna build 3 missile turrets here. So you can see that they kind of help cover the edge, and then 3 missile turrets in our natural, and then a 4th by the rocks. And we want 1 sensor tower at our third base, because the way the radius works is it'll watch our main base as well, and then 1 sensor tower by the rocks at our second base. And then at our 4th base, we want another 3 missile turrets on the outer edges. You don't have to build the 2 missile turrets in the back of the command center. You can put them on the outer edges first. It's not that terribly big of a deal. So let's just watch for a second. And you can see when the sensor tower finishes how much you'll cover. So let's see here. So you have to know what the sensor tower range is and put them in places where the full range can be used. You can see that we can see anything going to our top base in either direction. We are 100% safe on looking for drops. We have missile turrets, it'll be really hard to fly anything in. Warp prisms won't be an issue, so harassment really isn't an issue.
Okay, by the way, do you spam like additional factories when you're maxed out? Just in order to remax more quickly if you die?
Yes, the more bases you have, let's say I'm at like 8,000 minerals or even 5,000 minerals, I can go, you know what, okay, I'm going to spend a bit of my bank, but then if I do that, I'm not going to attack, because I need to get it back so I can make another army. So you can go, okay, I'm on 4 or 5 bases, I feel really safe. What I'm going to do is so the general rule is for 3 bases, mining economy, you can have 5 factories. So since at this stage of the game we're on 5 bases, we're going to throw down another 3 factories. So you can throw down an extra production facility for every gas geyser. So we have an extra 4 gas geysers. Let's get 3 factories and an extra starport. And we can even get 2 more barracks, because we won't be making everything out of the starport at one time, or everything out of the barracks at one time. But we have enough to afford to make out of one or the other, and then we can make it out of both, but we can't use everything unless we have a bank.
Alright.
So you can go up to like 10 factories if you have a lot of money. Let's say you're like 10 resources, or 10k resources, you can go up to like 4 barracks, 3 or 4 starports, and like 10 or 12 factories. And then just, that'll be good. Any more questions about it so far?
Not really.
Okay.
It's clear.
So do you know the build order? Do you remember it, or do you need me to like refresh your memory with words?
Well, I do kind of, at first I put my supply depot on ramp, and then I build my racks close to my geyser, and then I build on 13 supply, the 14th SCV builds the refinery. Then I'm not sure about the expo timing. Is it right after, or?
We do it right after the barracks when we can afford it.
Okay.
We'll go over it during the game.
Okay, and the first 100 gas goes to factory.
Yeah.
then I make tech lab and so on.
You want the production facilities facing out of your base. That way, you know, they're not like... How do I put this? We want them on this gas geyser, not this gas geyser, so we can control more space.
Oh, okay.
So our units can be clumped up here, in between them and the command center, and be safe.
All right. Yeah, another thing. When do I add additional factories?
When you're on 2 bases, you go up to 3 factories. When you're on 3 bases, you go up to 5 factories. When you're on 4 bases, you go up to 7 factories.
Yeah, but is there any like timing? For example, when I start my armory, I get 2 factories or something like that, or
no?
I just...
You want to get your 2 factories before your armory. If you're planning on going heavy units, and if you feel safe, though, you can get your armory before your 2 factories, so you can get sooner upgrades.
Okay.
Alright, so let's go ahead and have you do it, and
Okay.
I'll watch, and I'll correct you right away if you're doing something wrong. That way you don't learn it the wrong way, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So let's play this again. Do you feel like you understand the matchup already? Do you, like, if you scout something, you know how to defend it?
Yeah, it was helpful.
Very good. So let's get another Protoss, very easy. Economic focus, so he doesn't attack for a while. And this time, I watch you.
By the way, do you do that thingy with SCVs? You know, try to force them onto closest mineral patches.
It's only a 5% increase. It really isn't something you have to worry about until you're medium masters.
Okay.
So we're just gonna watch you. See exactly what you do. And then after the game, we'll mention some cheeses that people will do and see if you know how to stop them from the previous conversation.
Alright. Okay, now I'm at 9 supply.
So your next SUV is gonna make the depot at the front?
Yep. Does it matter, is it left or right side of ramp or something?
It doesn't really matter too much.
Right.
So let's see where you place your barracks. You want them in a way to where if you stack the buildings, you don't want them on that side. Other side.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
you're gonna be building it from like up to down. So you want them to build close to your command center, like closer to along it than above it. So if you were to build it on the other side, it would be really far from your command center, you know. But if you build it here, it's much closer, an extra building closer.
Alright. So that's good, right? This position.
Yeah, it needs to be spaced out like 2 more pixels to the left, but it's still okay for now. Like you can just
Alright.
move it in a second. Once you're at 15, you halt SCV production and you transfer over to the gas geyser right away as it finishes. You want to try to transfer workers that don't have minerals in their hands.
I usually do that, but now I messed up.
That's fine.
Right, so I
So
build
orbital
my-
command. We move
Yeah.
our barracks a little bit over. 2 spaces.
Right here.
No, one more space.
Right.
Yeah, that's perfect. So now you can build an add-on on there and feel safe, and you can fit a bunker in between. So if you need to, you can build a bunker behind it.
Like here.
You don't want your tech lab. You want to
Sorry?
cancel. You want to cancel the tech lab.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you said something about Adams, so I.
Oh, sorry.
So now I
Marines?
should expand, right?
No, now you should be making Marines non-stop.
Alright.
And we're gonna. Once you're at 16 supply, you want to make a supply depot behind your mineral line. And then your first 100 gas is going to go to a factory. Keep making Marines until then.
Yeah, I kind of missed that benchmark. I have
Oh,
50 more.
don't worry about it. We're just gonna learn what you need to do in order first.
Okay.
So we're waiting
Yeah,
for the
kind of
supply depot to
supply
finish.
block now, so that sucks.
Ah, it's fine, don't worry. So now that your factory is down, you can throw down your command center whenever. You actually, most likely than not, will get your third supply depot before you get the command center. But if you have enough minerals, you can get the command center first.
I get it in the base or
In the base. You want it right above your other command center. You want, yeah, right there. Remember to keep making marines. You have to keep making marines until you have plenty. So now we start a second gas, and we start a third supply depot and a widow mine.
I kind of have full 100 minerals floating.
Oh, that's fine. So now we want to build a tech lab. Once the widow mine is making, we finish whatever marine is there, or we get one more, depending on how far along the widow mine is, and then we get a tech lab.
Okay. By the way, those supply depots are those full.
And now we want to swap the barracks and the factory.
Yeah.
And if there's no cheese coming, we get a reactor on the barracks. Your barracks is a little bit high, but that's fine for right now.
Okay.
And we also get a starport. We want a bunker at the front.
Starport is above the barracks, right?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
That's fine. And now, yeah, you get the orbital command. We want a bunker at the front. Now, if you know he's not going to attack, if you're 100% sure, put the bunker down at the bottom of the ramp and get ready to move your position down there. If you're not sure, put the bunker at the top of the ramp.
Right.
And now from here, you make siege tanks and marines.
What should I siege?
You should siege right here. Let me bring my SUV there. It's coming. So you want to siege in a way where you can cover your base right here.
Okay.
So yeah, so you cover the bunker, you cover most of your production facilities, and you cover your command center. It's pretty good. You want your widow mine and your mineral line. We did forget this. Yeah, that's fine. We did forget to scout. You want to scout after your first supply depot. So so from here, you can get one Viking.
Alright.
And we want to go up to 3 siege tanks at the most.
They are clumped or like spread?
They can be kind of clumped up. They can be close to each other. And we keep making marines, and we get an armory. Or if we have if we think he's going to attack, we get 2 factories, and we place them next to these 2 buildings, so we can transfer them right over for their add-ons. So right next to these 2 factories.
Should I do it now or?
No. So let me move for you. So it can be actually right next to it, like right here, you know?
Okay. Don't have gas for another one.
Oh, that's fine. We can wait.
Okay, so right next to our production, like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. And then we want a tech lab on our starport.
Okay.
And this is the defensive one that we're doing right now. Are you more of a defensive player or aggressive player?
Well, I like aggressive players play, but I suck at it, so
Yeah.
I guess.
If you
I'll
want to
be
be
better
more
off trying.
aggressive, instead of the tech lab, you can get a reactor on the starport.
Alright.
And then we swap the buildings. You put the factories on the add-ons, and the starport and the barracks, we move them away. That
Okay.
one's not going to land properly. It's going to be a
Yeah,
little...
noticed.
And we move down, take our expansion. If we feel safe, we move down, take our expansion. Send all of our units down there, and we just keep making units, and we start a 3rd command center. So once we have an expo, we can build another orbital command for the next expo. We don't have to move them down right away, but we do want it. There you go. So now siege up, and you can see that your army is kind of scary with that many siege tanks and marines. You do want a bunker down there as well.
Okay, keep making siege tanks and hellbats, or?
Yeah, siege tanks, hellbats, and you want to get the +1 upgrade attack. Once you start your 3rd command center, you want to get the gas geysers at your natural right away. You also want to transfer workers over so you don't have more than 16 mining, you know?
Alright.
No? So, yeah.
Still making marines or
No more marines. You're fine on marines. You
starport is not producing anything, right?
You can produce Vikings or medevacs from the starport, depending on what he gets. If he goes Colossi or air, you get Vikings. If he doesn't, you get medevacs. But you do want at least 2 Vikings.
You said 1 at a time I should produce.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want an add-on.
Alright.
Not yet. And then once you have the gas, you get 2 more factories. Now your goal is to get up to 2 reactors, 3 tech labs. Remember that?
Sorry, where should I put my factories?
Right here.
Right here.
Perfect, yep. So now you're on 3 base economy, and your orbital command is on its way. You probably want to make 2 supply depots at a time now. Maybe even 3 pretty soon.
Oh, and I blocked my series with sieges.
It also couldn't hurt to get an engineering bay, because you're about to take your 3rd. So you want to get missile turrets.
Should I float my 3rd?
Float it yet, unless you feel safe. You want your engineering bay to be finished first.
Okay.
Once your engineering bay is finished, you can put 3 missile turrets here.
Sorry, add-ons on those extra factories or?
No. So what you're gonna do first is you're gonna use your extra minerals. Oh, add-ons. Yeah, sorry. You want 1 reactor, 1 tech lab.
Okay. Still making 2 sieges at a time, or?
2 siege tanks. It's gonna go up to 3. And you want to now move your 3rd over. Move your 3rd over and get 3 missile turrets at your side. By the 3rd, by the main, and then 4 by the natural. 1 by the rocks, and 3 close to the base.
Where did you say I should get 3?
3 missile turrets by your 3rd base, by your production facilities here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 along these edges.
Okay.
And you want 1 sensor tower here and here, so you can really scout it. So yeah, you can put the missile turrets there, or you can put them closer to the edge. The difference is that if you put them closer to the edge, they stop drops better. If you split them up, they stop Dark Templar better. So if there are no Dark Templar, you want them close to the edge. Okay?
Alright, is that good?
Yeah. So far, it's looking pretty good. You don't have any in your natural, though.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine.
You said also 3, or?
You put 4. 3 by the command center, or 1 by the rocks. So you can see if a Dark Templar is killing the rocks, or if anything's stealthed over there.
Okay.
Yeah, those are good positions. Absolutely perfect. We want 1 sensor tower by your 2nd, and 1 by your 3rd. And then from here, the game kind of progresses towards how you feel. You do start an extra command center at your 3rd base, and then you fly it down and you make it a planetary as your 4th. So this one would be 1 planetary, this one would be 2 planetaries, and that'll make it safe for you. If you don't feel comfortable taking your 4th and it looks like he's going to attack, you can put a planetary fortress here and a planetary fortress here. So that means that if he kills the rocks, you still have a planetary fortress right behind it, so you don't have to worry about it. You have a lot of idle SCVs.
Oh yeah.
And once you
shift move them.
So at about this stage of the game, you want, you haven't really been producing out of your starport, but you also want to start getting some ghosts. Since you're about to mine out your main, you do want to grab your 4th.
Okay, I'm kind of mixed out, so...
Yeah. So, around the 15-minute mark, when you're on 3 bases, you do want to get Ghosts and Ravens and Thors on top of all this.
Okay.
So, I think that's pretty much the build order. You're getting it down pretty good so far. Just need some quick tweaking.
My macro is kind of, slippery because I'm trying to focus on your words.
It's
So,
fine. Once you like rewatch the game and really learn the
yeah,
builds, it'll come easy.
I should stop SCV production right about now, right?
Yeah, you definitely should stop SCV production. You also, if you look at your factories, you can see that your factories were 1 pixel too close, so your siege tank can't get out. So that's something to recognize. You want them 2 pixels away,
Yeah,
or 4 pixels because of the add-on. And your upgrades are doing good. Your army's looking pretty scary. Once you have your 3rd base, you want to put some, like, 2 siege tanks here on this outer edge. Where's that worker I was using? Here. Let me move him. So, you want your siege tanks. You want some right here. Do you see my worker?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want some right here. You want some on the other side of the cliff, like 3 or 2 even, and then you want them split across the kind of like a little back from the edge, but you want them around the edge. All your siege tanks, and then your hellbats. They're gonna be kind of like down here, on the edge of the ramp.
By the way, I kind of feel I have too few of hellbats and too many siege tanks.
No, it's fine. The only reason why it's like that is because you started off with 2 tech labs instead of 2 reactors.
Okay.
So as long as you're not being aggressive, that's more than fine. If you're being defensive, it's good.
Okay, so that's about it.
Yep. Do you have any more questions? Because we actually, it feels like we've only been here for 20 minutes, but it's been already 56.
Yeah. So we're kind of up on time.
Yeah.
Maybe those cheeses and timings you mentioned.
Oh yes.
Quickly overview.
So let's say like let's have a little bit of a quiz. So what would you do against Dark Templar? If you think he's going Dark Templar at the 5-minute mark, what would you do?
Well, I would save up my scans. I would put up a couple of widow mines and obviously kind of a few of missile turrets at my front, one at my mineral line, and maybe a few one more in the middle of my base.
Mm-hmm. So, slightly correct, slightly wrong. What we want to do if we see Dark Templar is we want to make sure we're walled off so they can't just walk in. We get an engineering bay. We get 1 missile turret in each mineral line and 1 at the front. We only get them close to where in the middle of our base if they go air. That way it covers our production facilities with so they can't pick up a tank right away as it comes out. You know?
Okay.
So they can't just stay there. Against Blank Stalker, we put the barracks, the bunkers. We want 3 of them. You can even go up to 4 if you're really nervous, around your production facilities, and your siege tanks behind it, near your command center, so the siege tanks can always fire anything attacking the bunker, and they can't get to your command center or your mineral line. With Immortals, if they're doing a heavy Immortal rush, you just put the bunkers at the front. You don't have to worry about that. If you see a War Prism, get 1 or 2 Vikings and put them on the edge of your bases so they can't just fly in and get a 1 or 2 missile turrets there. Another thing you can do is if you see a 4-gate, bunkers at the front. Again, Widow Mines are great if they don't have a robotics facility. If they do have a robotics facility, siege tanks are much better.
Okay. One more question. What are the telltale signs, of certain cheeses?
So if they don't have their expansion by the 5-minute 30-second mark, expect a cheese, and every minute check to see if they have that expansion by scanning or sending an SUV, preferably sending something, but if you can't check after a minute, make sure to scan and either his base so you can see what's coming, but that might be harder to see. If you scan his expansion, you know for sure if there is one or not.
Okay. Can I tell by his unit composition, for example, too many sentries or something like that?
Yes. The more sentries they have, the less likely it's to be any cheese. The more stalkers they have, the more likely it's to be Blink Stalker. The less units you see, the more likely it is to be Dark Templar.
Okay.
So that's an easy way to tell. But it's a lot harder at the lower league you are because they're not 100% sure what to do or how many to get. Yeah. So it's really hard to judge because they do make lots of mistakes.
Okay. Also against Oracles, how many Marines should I ideally get if I know he's getting oracles?
So if he's getting oracles, you get the missile turrets. It takes 6 marines to kill an oracle. One widow mine can kill it. So if you see oracles, you go, you know what? All right, I'm gonna get, instead of the siege tank, I'm gonna get 2 widow mines. I'm gonna do everything normal, except instead of siege tanks, I'm gonna get widow mines. And once my armory is done, I'm gonna get Thors and Hellbats instead of siege tanks and Hellbats.
Okay. So they usually get 1 or 2 oracle, not too many, right?
That's correct. They usually get 1 or 2. They can go up to 5. It's kind of popular, but the moment you have a Thor, oracles are kind of useless. The moment you have 2, you pretty much win the game.
Okay.
So
again, if they go oracles and say we defend it, should I go for some counter attack or just micro up?
If you've defended the Oracle Harass without taking any real damage, you scan his base, see how many units he has. If you can overpower his ground with your Hellbats, if they were to stand still, go attack. If you can't, don't attack. The reason why being is that your Thors might be busy shooting at the air, and they might be distracted. So also, if he loses a lot of oracles and you're up to 3 Thors and you have a lot of Hellbats, if you get Thors, you can make medevacs. If he gets Colossi, be sure to switch to Vikings. It's very important. You want 2 Vikings per every Colossi.
Oh, that's a useful number to know. Okay, that's about it. Should I pull my CVs when I go early pushes or just the late game pushes?
You can experiment with it. Sometimes I tell myself, if I pull all my SCVs now and attack, will I win the game? If I'm 100% sure I will win the game, I'll do it. Okay. If I am not 100% sure, anything less than 100% sure, I will not pull. Unless I've taken so much damage and I know I've lost, I will pull all my SCVs and make a last desperation move.
Okay. So you're saying basically I should just macro up and try to force him into attacking me?
Absolutely. So you just drop, you nuke. You can even Thor drop to help deny bases. It's kind of funny, but it actually works. So you just keep doing that. Just harass. Make sure you never have more than 15 supply in harassment if you can help it. So just like a medevac or maybe even 20 supply. You can get like 3 medevacs and a bunch of Hellbats in there. Send some Hellions across the map. Maybe scout for a base and get the transformation servos. That way you can look around for bases with your Hellions, and if you find one, you transform. You take it out.
Okay.
Another rule is that for every cannon he has, 3 Hellbats will easily take it out. So if you scout a base. That you have, like, let's say you have 9 Hellions around the map, and you come to a base and it's got 3 cannons. You transform and then you go kill the base.
Oh, nice. Yep. All right, so that's about it. I'll try to practice that, and I'll let you know if I like it or not, and maybe I'll take another hour or 2 for other 2 matchups.
Yeah, it sounds good. As long as you perfect this, you should automatically, hands down, beat any cheese they throw at you until Master League, guaranteed. And you should be able to, if they attack you, flat out win the game.
Alright.
So what I would do is, if you lose, shrug it off, take a look at the replay, kind of go, okay, why did I lose? And then, just do the exact same build again.
Yeah, I just won't do any ranks for another month or so until I feel safe enough, to go on a ladder. So, okay. Well, anyways, it's been a pleasure, and talk to you later.
Yeah, and you have a good day as well.
Yeah, you too. See ya, bye.
Yep, bye. That was Terran against Protoss coaching against Isidore. With Isidore, and so what we've covered here is builds and reactions and timings, and he wanted to learn mech firsthand from me. He didn't want to. He watched the YouTube videos, and they're very helpful. He did like the YouTube videos, tutorials, but he wanted me to specifically point it out so he could get it right and really have the feedback right as he really starts learning it. This was his first mech game. So it's really fresh start, which is a good thing. There's a lot of potential, and getting it right the first time is very helpful, because if you just look at something and you don't realize you're doing part of the build wrong and you don't understand why the build is wrong, it will mess you up big time, because you will end up doing this and learning, and it will become truth for you, and you'll keep making the same mistake until one day you might have been a coaching, or you see another coaching, and you'll realize, you know what, I've been making that mistake, and it could mean the whole world of difference. So learning it right the first time is a very crucial, important key, and I recommend anyone to watch this who's trying to learn this specific strategy. If you're interested in coaching, for any of you viewers out there, I do coach for $15 an hour. Sometimes I do it for free, sometimes I give out replays, sometimes I pick a streamer or a viewer from my stream to just automatically give them an hour of coaching, help them out, so it really depends. But if you're interested, you can definitely contact me through email or message me, and I'll try to help you out. The coachings is something I've been really posting on YouTube, but only at the request of, or not at the request, but only with the permission of the people getting lessons. You do never ever have to have your coachings publicized. They can completely be for you. This was recorded per request, and this will be uploaded per request. So thank you guys for watching. I will be trying to do I'll be trying to upload the other videos that I have from the YouTube tutorials. I think I finished 1 or 2 of them. I'm going to try to do a few more and then upload them. I might wait until tomorrow, or I might wait until Tuesday, but I think there should be some out tonight or tomorrow. And I don't want to overwhelm you, so I've been uploading the coachings first. I think they provide the most feedback for a lot of people, and then I'm gonna upload the YouTube analysis for players that have sent me their games. And it's something I'm experimenting with. I'll do quite a few of them at the start, see how I like, see how I feel, see what kind of views it gets, and if people enjoy them, if they're really helpful. And if it doesn't turn out to be something that I want to pursue, I'll stop doing it. But if it turns out to be really popular, I'll keep doing it, as long as you guys keep sending me replays. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've learned as well with Isidore. And keep following me. Tell your friends. Tell them Mech is viable. And I want to make, or actually, I will save that for another time. So thanks for watching, guys.